Well, hello there, and welcome to the Fortress of Pop Culture. I'm Tim Power, and you and I will be talking to the one and only Jazzi P very, very shortly. She's such a tease, that one, isn't she, Jazzi P? Is she about to collaborate with Kylie Minogue yet again? I want you to have a listen and see if you can unravel her cryptic message. I couldn't do it. And later we will replay our enraged caller. I think his name was Nicholas. He went for me on a number of issues, as is his right. He said that I should be sued, but he didn't win you over, did he? I must admit I'm surprised. I thought you might be barracking for his attempted king hit to my jaw, but that didn't turn out to be the case.
And now it's your turn. It's time to talk. Back.
Hi Tim, just listened to your show on the Enraged Caller. Honestly don't know what that guy's problem is. What a ridiculous argument. To pick you up on your speaking and your grammar is pathetic. And then to kind of lay into everything you do, to say that you have to have a fact check for every single person that you have on and all this malarkey. I just think it's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand what he's getting at all. What a loser. What an actual loser. I also think that if this is the type of thing that he sits at home and worries about, he needs to actually get a life. I almost felt like I'd wasted a little bit of my life just listening to him babble on, to be honest. So don't let it affect you. Keep doing what you do. We all enjoy listening, and yeah, just mark that one off. I would.
Hey Tim, I just finished listening to your last episode, and oh my god, Nicholas, the enraged OnlyFans guy, has some nerve to think that he's the end-all be-all when it comes to facts. Nicholas, you just sound sad and lonely when you complain about someone's podcast that you allegedly listen to on a regular, yet can't remember what annoys you about it, except how they pronounce words. First off, Nicholas, make sure you actually listen to the full episode of something you're going to complain about. And second, make sure you're quoting the person correctly. I was the Trump supporter you're referring to, and am ready, willing, and able to have a discussion on facts with you any day of the week. We can also discuss how you can take notes while listening to a podcast and how to actually quote someone with what they said before speaking your opinion and giving your 2 cents on their thoughts.
Now look, for the record, I've had a very bizarre exchange with the enraged caller since that went to air, trying to pair him up with Sean, who you just heard in that last voice memo. G'day, Sean. But he really did twist and turn, and now it's not happening. At first he demanded the topics that he was going to talk about with Sean. I happily gave them to him. Then he demanded to set the agenda himself, so I said, yeah, sure, set the agenda, go for it. Then he said that wasn't his job, and that was my job to do. You absolutely wouldn't believe the ridiculous texts that he sent through, all aimed at, of course, avoiding coming back on the show to talk to the guests that he criticised. So, look, I left the enraged caller with an option, which he hasn't taken up, but the option still stands. Sir, if you're listening, and possibly you are, send through the agenda you want to set so that you can't accuse us of bias, because that's essentially the vibe that you were giving me. I'll pass on your agenda to Sean, and we'll make this happen. Now, even though the enraged caller was a little bit irritating, that is the spirit of the show, and as always, you can send me your thoughts on anything, basically. Anything you hear on this show. You might just want to sing out the praises of your favourite pop star. Send them to timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. Or if you want to come on the show, you absolutely can too. This is your show to talk about music, movies, and artists that you happen to love. Kim from Finland, he's coming up. He started off sending us voice memos, but he's coming up very shortly to talk us through Kylie's fiendish show. Yep, it was the first tension show since she took some time out to recover from illness. She certainly seems to got over that. She looks amazing. She looks healthy. And she's in top form, as she has been for the entire Tension Tour, let's be honest. We really are in the home stretch, aren't we, of the Tension Tour? Did you see her performance at the Tinderbox Festival in Denmark? Tension outdoors. Wow, 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 wow. It was amazing. That Ferris wheel in the background. Lots of you commenting about that. Now, Lizzo has released a new album yesterday.
When I get about this motherfucking shit I'm going through right now, bitch, I'm not letting no hoe breathe around me. I promise you, bitch. You hoes had enough time to get yourself together, bitch. Bitch, I'm mad. Bitch, I'm pissed off, bitch. Fuck everybody who did anything. Bitch, I'm stepping on you hoes next and I'm coming for everything, bitch. I'm coming for everything, ho. But just to let you know, bitch, it's a whole different type of business.
Yeah, that gives you a bit of an idea. I've listened to the entire album. It's so gangster, and I've never heard the B word more times on a single album, and that's truly saying something. I listen to a lot of music. This album is sexually charged throughout. It's very explicit. In fact, it makes erotica look like a nursery rhyme. There's tracks here called Gotcho Bitch, Summer Shit, and Yitty on Yo Titties. And I'm fairly certain titties is spelt incorrectly on the track listing. Maybe we should ask Nicholas. I have absolutely no idea why Still Bad isn't on the album. That's really confusing to me. It was a last single, and it was awesome. Doja Cat features here on the album, so does SZA. The best track on the album is Bend It Over, where she seems to reference Katy Perry. I've listened back like an old person. Rewind, listen, and I'm sure she references Katy Perry. It's another very explicit track, and yes, it's about exactly what you'd expect it to be about with a title like that. But it has a good beat, and that's the main thing, isn't it? Generally, this album is extremely aggressive. It's just basically, it's a true rap album. Possibly, I'm trying to be fair. For a rap album, I think it's really high quality, actually. But it's just not really my scene for the most part. But have a listen, though. It's interesting hearing Lizzo trying to repair the damage to her brand. That damage that, by the way, she's still taking no accountability for. In fact, she's doubled down, tripled down. It's everyone else's fault except for mine. But you know what? She's super talented, and for some bizarre reason, I like her. Did you know that Kylie outstreams Lizzo in monthly streams? Now, Jazzy P performed her Shocked rap with Kylie twice on the Tension Tour in the UK, and didn't we love it? She wore the original jacket, and she even updated the lyrics just a little bit, and you and I are about to find out why. Let's go. Hello, lovely lady. How are you?
There you go. I can hear you. I am fine. How is yourself?
Have you come down off your high yet? I mean, it was a big, wasn't it? A reunion with Kylie Minogue. What a huge moment.
Oh, it was amazing. No, I haven't come down off it, to be fair.
Absolutely incredible. And I've got to say, like, we cannot underestimate what it meant for the OGs, the original Kylie lovers from back in the day, that have been wanting to see this for the longest time. And I know you said before when we spoke last time, this was on your bucket list. So it's obviously meant a lot to you as well.
No, listen, I'll tell you something, right? She has such a lovely spirit. It's, and she's so generous as well, because, I mean, the thing is that there are not many artists that would let you come on stage and then take time out of your set in order to blabber on and say what I had to say. You know, I mean, that wasn't rehearsed at all, because all we did in the sound check was rehearse the track. You know, and also she said, let me get my hand up there and make sure you don't fall down those stairs. So she thinks of everything. I mean, I tell you something, if she ever decides she doesn't want to sing anymore, she could be a cheerleading coach.
A cheerleading coach?
We have to, yeah, because one of the things we have to do when we do competitions and things is, like, if you say lose somebody, then you've got to restructure the whole routine.
Yeah.
And when we got onto stage to do the sound checks, right, Jazzy's here now, not normally. So you go here, da-da-da. This needs doing, that needs doing, that, bam, 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 and she had it done.
And you watched her do that, because here's the thing. Most of us would be thinking there's a team of people and Kylie wouldn't even be part of that conversation. Yet you, with your own eyes, saw her making those directions.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
Mm.
boss girl. She's a boss girl, so and she did it like a boss, and she just switched everything around that needed to be done so that I could be accommodated. And can't say more than big thank you for that. She made it very, very easy for me.
You took the mic. You were able to talk directly to the audience. You've already told us that wasn't planned or rehearsed. Yet, did you notice Kylie stepped way back, literally out of the limelight, to allow you to have that moment?
Yeah, that's why I had to squeeze her up good, man. And that's what I'm saying. You would not find many artists that would do that.
No. Instinctively, at the minimum, they might just stand next to you and still be very aware of how their responses were being perceived by their audience. But Kylie literally steps right out of the limelight so that you spoke directly to the audience. And by the way, what was that reaction from the audience like? What did it feel like?
Amazing. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely amazing. It was wonderful. I mean, the other thing I'd tell you about Kylie, what she did as well is she bigged me up after I came off stage too, which I didn't hear. So I got to hear it afterwards. But, and that's what I'm saying, like from start to finish, it was just like when I got there, she gave me flowers and booze and champers and all sorts, got my litho, I got my t-shirt, I got my program, because I've got my original Let's Get To It tour t-shirt, which looks brand new still, and the program, which looks brand new still, because I've got them stored away, so they can go with the other ones.
Don't you love this, folks? Jazzy P's a Kylie collector. This is amazing. This is absolutely
I've got the
amazing.
ice bucket as well. Oh,
you didn't take the light bulbs too, did you? Hey, Jazzy P.
No.
I would have. Hey, I've got lots more to ask you, including the fact that you were wearing the original jacket, and people have been asking me to ask you lots of questions from woe to go with this reunion, and we're going to let you have the opportunity to clarify some tired old comments that have resurfaced since you've had your reunion as well. I know that you'd love to clear that up, but let's just rejoice in the moment for a moment together, okay?
I hit the big 60 last year, or 60 last year, 61 this year, and I'm still rocking. Yeah! And it's me. You know what? We're just going to walk this to the end of the stage because everybody's going to witness it. To everybody that helped to get me here today, because as I say, it was a bucket list and the Kylie fans came out in full force, and all I can say is the biggest respect to you all. Thank you so much. And if Queen Kylie, let's give it up for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, my lovely. Thank you so much. So welcome. Yeah. Thank you, friends. Cheers. Jazzy P! Oh, yeah, I better recover. Do you know how long we were keeping that a secret for? Yeah, up until soundcheck, because a lot of the team didn't even know. We kept that so under wraps. What an honor. Thank you, Jazzy P. For those of you who don't know.
So, Jazzy P, I need to take you back to the sound check, because as I understand it, this is the moment where you first reunited with Kylie after more than 30 years. Can you tell us what it was like walking into the venue?
Oh, I mean, I haven't been to the NEC for absolutely years. I think Destiny's Child was the last time I went. And it was just like, it felt like going home, to be honest.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I love gigging. I do. I love, because everybody's asking me if I'm nervous, and I wasn't nervous. Because it's something I love doing. And if it's something, I do get nervous if I'm doing something for the very first time. But once I've done it, I tend to be okay.
This is like coming home, as you say. But do they pick you up in a car from your home? Like, or do you have to taxi there?
Yeah, they came and picked me up, and then I was getting ready, and it's like, okay, I've brought my original jacket, I have. And the next thing I know, I'm like, no, I haven't. It's behind the door in my bedroom.
Oh, no. What, you were in the car driving to the venue and realised your jacket was at home?
No, I was at the venue.
Oh, stop it, Jazzy P.
Yeah, I was at the venue, and it's like I realised after the sound check it was. It's like, hold on, I haven't got my jacket.
So what do you do about that?
So I had to ring my son because luckily he's got keys to my house. So I had to ring him. He doesn't drive, so he had to get a friend of his to drive to mine, get the jacket, but he was going out. So then he had to drop the jacket to a neighbour. So I had to ring a neighbour and say, my son's coming with this jacket. Then somebody else is coming to your house for the jacket. Make sure you're home. So she was going to be going out, but she was in time. So she didn't have to, we had about 10 minutes to spare. So they sent a car from Birmingham over to Wolves, got my jacket, and we got it in time.
Wow, the story of how Jazzy P almost didn't get to wear the original jacket.
Oh, my, you don't know. I was cussing
You
myself.
really must have been upset because you've been waiting 30 years and you had it all ready to go.
The thing is, I was at the front door and I kept feeling like I've left something. But usually I left with other people. Usually with me, I normally go most everywhere by myself.
Yeah.
So I do my little checklist, like when I'm DJing and stuff, I tend to go on my own because I like to pack my things myself because then I know what I've got.
So,
and I'm good to go.
You know I'm not in the biz, so I'm going to ask you all the stupid questions. When you arrive at the venue, are you already made up? Have you dressed at home, or do you wait till you get to the venue to do all of that sort of stuff? Where's the prep? Like, how does it happen?
Okay, well, being a menopause mini, I have to have a cold shower and just sit down for about half an hour.
Right.
Because if I don't and I start running around the place, I just burst into sweat, which means that, that's one of the reasons why I don't really wear makeup. So I just had a very, very, very thin foundation on.
Right.
But for Miss Kylie Minogue, I wore my first ever fake eyelashes.
Yeah, now the fake eyelashes, for those of you who haven't heard it, I called and was lucky enough to talk to Jazzy P right after she came off stage. She was backstage, and literally one of the first things he said to me was, hold on, I'm taking off my fake eyelashes. I was like, okay, I'll give you a moment.
Yeah, because I've never worn them before, but it was like, this was special. And I'd had a pair sitting there, so I brought them in. The backing singers did it for me. They did them for me, and they added a bit of makeup as well. They did my eyes. The whole of Kylie's crew, from bottom to top to middle to side and back, they are the most polite, kindest people. And to get that all round in a whole team is rare.
But let's give credit to her, because Kylie's the true professional. And I like to think, and this is only a guess, that the reason everyone is professional from top down, as you say, is because that's what she expects and that's what she demands.
Yeah, but she's not a diva. That's the one. She's not she's not one of those demanding people. You've got to do this. You've got to do that.
Yeah.
But
I do think her standard would be courtesy.
She's got a high standard without a shadow of a doubt, but she's not rude.
Yeah, exactly. I think that most of the time Kylie let people do what they need to do, but I think her line would be courtesy and rudeness. I think she wouldn't suffer that on a tour, to be honest. No. She might not behave like a diva if she saw it, but it's just, I think it's part of coming on board the crew. When you arrived, you said that there were gifts in your room backstage.
Yeah, she left me a beautiful bunch of flowers, and some Kylie wine. I got a Kylie bag, my litho, my T-shirt, my program, the whole kit and caboodle.
That's so special, isn't it? That is so special. Yeah. And an autographed photo, right?
Oh yeah. One of the big lithographs.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's
and
so
she
welcoming.
Also, because there's a lady as well that she is a regular listener to our radio station in Birmingham, and she's had a really bad year. 3 deaths in her family, and she's not well as well. And she really wanted to come to the Kylie concert, but she's kind of got agoraphobia now. So Kylie signed one of those lithographs for her as well, Jenny. So that was really nice of her to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, you're backstage, you're getting prepared, and then the time for sound check arrives. I know you've told me that it felt so organic when you first engaged, made contact with, reunited with Kylie. Can you tell us about the moment when you first got to see her again?
Yeah, I was just about to step up, just to get familiar with the stage, and she'd done a track just before with the backing singers and the drummers and everything, and so just went up the stairs and like she had her back turned to me, and then she turned around and it was like, "Come here, girl,
Amazing.
give me some, bring it in, let's bring it in." And it was just lovely to see her. But I squeezed her a bit too hard, bless her heart. I hope she ain't got a bruising. But it was just, I am a big hugger anyway.
Yeah.
And if I like you, you're gonna get a good old squeeze. So I gave her a good old. It was just lovely to see her. Absolutely lovely.
People need to remember that you were part of Kylie's touring family, which included her mother, back in 1991 for the Let's Get To It tour. You didn't just come out once a night. It was part of the traveling family, really, wasn't it? You were very much part of her inner circle for that period. Would that be fair?
Yeah, because we were doing, we did I did part of the UK tour because I was off with DNA in Paris when it first started. But yeah, so, it's like ate together every day and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, we had a good time. We had a very good time. It was just really, really, really good to relive that again.
And I recall even Kylie's mother would really look after you and look out for you as well. Yeah.
I did that because I made Kylie a card and said when we did the last show, and gave it to her to make sure to tell her mum I said hello and that I'm eating my greens.
Because Carol told you to eat your greens, right?
Yes, she did, and I have done ever since. The only ones I stay away from are garden peas and sprouts.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and a lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners. Amateurs, is this the best that they could do?
Jazzy P, I want to ask you more, but I hope it's okay with you. We're going to go there. As soon as all this started reaching social media, and I love social media for that, it's probably while you were on the stage, I was getting the pictures coming through and I was falling off my lounge going, "Oh my God, it's so amazing." And I felt like I was part of it because of the live nature of social media. But pretty much immediately, don't get me wrong, 99% of the comments were fantastic, so excited, just like me. "Oh my God, can't believe this is happening." But there would always be the odd comment, "Wasn't this the lady who said mean things about Kylie back in the day?" So I just want to give you the opportunity now to clarify this story that does probably haunt you. I'm only imagining it might, because it comes up from time to time, where apparently you told Kylie that you thought her music was shit. Can you tell us? I mean, context is everything. Tell us about it, Jazzy P.
It certainly is. The actual time was we were on the Let's Get To It tour, and we were about to go on stage, and I said to her, "You know something? I always used to think your music was shit, but after hearing you just in rehearsal alone, because that was enough for me, after hearing you, I'd pay money to see you any day.
I'd pay money to see you any day." And you said that to Kylie. How did she respond at the time?
She laughed at me.
Yeah, right?
She always does, because I don't know, I say what's on my mind.
You do, and I'm sure she knew that about you. And I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but there is no way that you would have said that to her unless you had developed some sort of rapport with one another and trust. So that's why you're saying, and also people who are quick to throw stones. I'm going to add this. At the time, Kylie was fighting for her professional life. She wanted to be seen as credible. She wanted to be seen as cool. She was sick of being the butt of the joke. So Jazzy P, when you said to her, "You know what, I used to think your music was shit, but after listening to you and watching you perform, I'd pay to see you any day." I mean, for God's sake, politically correct people out there, that is one of the most complimentary things and probably one of the most welcome comments that she could have craved for at the time, coming from someone like you who did have cred because you were in that other scene that was a lot more credible at the time. Does all of that ring true to you, or am I just making all of that up?
No, that I'd say that's fair enough. I mean, the problem that I had with that was that I repeated it when I went into Big Brother. I've only ever seen my VT once, but I think it's somewhere in there. I think I stopped watching it because I thought, what pile of crap
What do you mean
is this?
VT?
It's the video that they put together for you before you go into the Big Brother house, and they show it to the public.
Oh, okay. So again, I'm not in the biz. So for those of you who are just viewers like me, when they show, those cutaways of the different contestants in the house talking about. So you recorded stuff before you went in.
That's right. So
I
told them the exact same story, but what they did, they just cut it to. I told Kylie Minogue music was shit.
Oh,
Boom.
stop! Is that right? Oh,
yeah, that's what they did.
Oh, dear.
And they did it. They did it with several things, like also not only with Kai but with Rihanna as well.
Right.
Because within my age group, anybody that took care of us when we were younger were aunties and uncles. And I'd said to somebody in the house that my auntie Wilma. Now, her married name was Wilma Sargent, but she was born a Fenty. And I said, my auntie Wilma's related to Rihanna. Now, what the Daily Mirror then did was take that for me saying that I'm related to Rihanna. No. Mm-hmm. But you see, because they're not culturally aware, they don't want to be culturally aware, they don't understand that within my culture, you're all an auntie. I mean, young people now call everybody auntie, but what that now means is, I think you're old.
So you had two.
You know what I mean?
Well, totally.
But in my day, when I was auntie, that was a respectful thing that if I get a clip around the ear, I can't go complaining to my parents, because if it's one of my aunties or uncles did it, I probably deserved it.
Without going too deep into Big Brother, because people can go back and listen to our last chat where we did, but it would be fair to say, Jazzy P, that you're in a bubble. So, and it's not until you emerge that you find out, oh my God, that Kylie comment's just gone viral. Is that fair to say that you're in a bubble?
I didn't even know. That was kept from me for a very long time.
Mm. Well, it wasn't kept from the fans. You know that, right? The fans were immediately onto that going, what? Seriously?
Yeah,
ungrateful, sour grapes? Yeah.
I knew nothing of it at all. I mean, it was the same with, apparently, now this happened in the house. They were calling this girl I was supposed to be bullying a slug. Now, I never called her a slug at all. Now, when I came out of the house, I saw somebody dressed as a slug, and I thought, oh my God, they think I'm a slug, because I thought they were referring to me. Mm. But I didn't know till I got out they were actually referring to that other person. I had no idea, and that was within the house. There were certain things I said to them I don't want to hear when I'm in there anyway, like the C word. They use that a lot. I don't like it. Will not use it. No. So and they respected that. But as I say, I didn't know, but apparently I was made responsible for everything that happened to this person, even though when a bag couldn't get closed, I'm the only one that offered to close it for her. Mm. You know, and they don't show. I mean, I've got to say this. This is the one thing I have to say. The reason why I picked her to be up for eviction every single week is because she's the only person that was nasty to me as she stepped in the house.
Yeah.
Because the second she stepped in the house, she said to me, I don't like the way that you're so popular in this house, because usually everywhere I go, I'm top dog and leader of the pack. And I said to her, I'm no dog and I'm no wolf. So you go ahead and do your thing. Mm. And that was my response to her. But they didn't show that. No. So then what it looked like was I just went for her because she was giving off this, poor me vibes anyway.
So 10 years, and I can still hear it in your voice. This was a profoundly awful experience in your life.
Well, yeah, up to last year, I was ready to go teach at a school and teach BTEC Performing Arts, did all the lesson plans. And the night before, I got a telephone call saying, sorry, we don't want you because you were on Big Brother.
Oh, so they...
And there was nothing I could do about it.
Jesus. Fair to say if you went back in the metaphorical time capsule, you wouldn't do it again.
No. Or, you see, the thing is, if I did, I'd have to lie.
Right.
And I'm not too good at that. I'm not too... You'd have to go... I'm telling you now, to go into Big Brother, you can't go in there with a clean heart. You can't. Otherwise, you're done for.
Hi, this isn't Kylie Minogue, and I love listening to Time to Talk.
Now, a lot has been made about the fact that when you appeared on the stage, your mic had cut out for the first, not very long, literally for the first line, maybe 5 seconds or
Line
so.
and a half, yeah.
Did you 9.5? You've timed it, have you?
No, a line and a half.
A line and a half. Sorry about that. So,
Yeah.
Did you know that when you were on stage, or you couldn't tell anyway?
I didn't know. No,
because you
I
can
was
hear
belting out
yourself
my
in your
voice
earpiece,
anyway.
right?
You can, but I don't like hearing myself in my earpiece, so I had it turned right down.
Ah, I see. Okay, so that's
So
why
I
you
can
didn't
hear the
notice.
music.
Which is a good thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because if you'd noticed something like that, it would distract you, wouldn't it? Like just
It may have done, yeah. It may. Well, I mean, I've had boobs drop out and all sorts when I've performed in
Really?
the past. So, oh yeah, I did. When I was in my dance group, I shoved it right back in, darling, and the next move. I just slid across, slid the boob with me, and it was all good. You know, so, I mean, those kind of things happen. I mean, the thing is, it didn't take away the love in the room.
No, and that's part
you
of
know.
live performance. It's interesting. I was speaking to a Beyonce fan not so long ago, a beautiful guy, and he was talking about how the robots on the stage didn't work, and that was a shame. And it's like, but that's the proof that you're in a live arena when things go
That's
wrong.
right.
I mean, otherwise, go and watch a really well polished Netflix special or something. If you're in a live arena, things go wrong.
Yeah.
So when did you first realize about that line and a half being cut out? Is that when you came off the stage?
Yeah, when I came off. I had no idea.
But the question everyone's
start-
asking is, do you care?
No.
Good. Excellent. Scratch that off the list. Jazzy P didn't care about that. It's part of live performance. What happens? She's very used to it.
Of
She's a
course
seasoned
it
pro.
is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, after everything that was going on, how could you, you know, a line and a half and what? You know, it was the live performance. You know, and that's the most important thing, and it was obviously live.
Now, it was obviously live, and I've mentioned the fact and reminded people that you wrote the lyrics for this rap, but you changed a line in this reunion. Can you tell us which line and why?
Just that I didn't do it on purpose. It just came out.
Is that right?
I just said Kylie, yeah, because I just wanted to say thank you to Kylie, and the burst came, so I thought throw it in the lyrics. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure what I said. I know that I said Kylie respects me in the things I do. I don't know what I said in the next line, and I told her I love her because I do.
So, and you, wow, that's interesting to know that wasn't pre-planned. So, just a reminder for people, what's the original line again? From a man who respects you.
Oh, I changed that as well. I changed it to someone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a few changes.
The someone one I had changed already.
So from a man who respects you, loves your mind as well as your body, but you change it to from someone who respects you.
Who respects
and then
me.
was that from a little bit of personal trauma you're telling me to, I think?
Well, I just don't want to attribute it to the person that I wrote it about in the first place.
Right. Got it. Got it.
If I'm going to be honest, and if the thing is that so many people have used it for their wedding vows, I thought, right, make it completely for everyone.
People have used the rap lyrics from Shocked for their wedding vows?
Yeah.
Get out.
Loads of people have.
Really? Two people getting married, so a man and a man, a woman and a woman, a man and a woman, or whatever identity we are, right? So I've got that in my head. And at that moment where you make, you know, very profound agreement with one another, some people are saying, well, I assume they're skipping shocked lightning from up above, down from the heavens, and it gave me love. From someone who respects me, loves my mind as well as my body. No, what's the next lyric?
Retreat. No retreat.
No retreat and no surrender. Equal to you, regardless of gender, giving me love. Yeah, I can see this now, but I've never heard of this before, Jazzy P.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I had a message from somebody last week, and they used it for their wedding in August.
Wow. How does that make you feel?
Proud as punch.
Oh, proud as punch. I would be too. Yeah. Wow. But
Yeah,
when you wrote the
totally.
original lyrics and that particular line of from a man who respects me, loves my mind as well as my body, you had someone in mind, someone you were with at the time.
Yeah, but he wasn't respecting me, but I didn't know.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
I was getting no Aretha Franklin at that time, darling. But I wasn't aware.
RESPECT. Okay, so when you sing it from this point forward, you go, no, that reference, I'm not giving him the power, the control, and I don't want the memory. So you change it to someone.
Yeah.
Got it. And by the way, a lot of people would assume you changed it to someone just to be in 2025. You know, we tend to gender neutralize everything. People might have thought you did it for that reason.
No, I'm not a trend follower, mate.
Not a trend follower, no. But you're so beautifully. You come off from doing your part, and then you go into the audience to watch the rest of the show. I know you've told me, but the people want to know, Jazzy P. What does Jazzy P make of the Tension show? Like, was it like, especially compared to the Kylie shows of old, one of which you were part of? Let's Get to It tour. I mean, how's she evolved as a performer, as an artist, and what did you make of the Tension tour itself?
Well, the only negative thing I can say about the Tension tour is that I didn't get to see it from the start.
Aha, because you were preparing.
And I want to see that diamond. I want to see the show from the start.
So you never saw that from the wings or anything like that?
No, because I had to stay in the I had to stay outside, didn't I?
Right.
So it's only just before the start of Shock comes on that I can get out. So I didn't get to see the start of the show. My favourite track from the whole Tension. Oh God, I love that tune so much. I love that tune. Ooh, touch me right there. That's a tune.
Hey,
I love it.
If you love the track Tension so much, and here I am, I'm clapping along now because you're absolutely right. That's my favourite part. Do, touch me right there. Do.
Telling you, man. Love it.
So do you reckon Tension could have done with a rap version as well? Jazzy P in the middle of that?
Well, I wouldn't say no, I tell you. No, it's a Boston track. As far as, I mean, the thing is, it's obviously with technology, everything's come on. The biggest notice that I made, obviously being a veteran, is the silent stage. I've never been on a silent stage before, and that was amazing. Because obviously without foldback speakers and everything, it gives everybody much more room to move around. You don't think you're going to trip over a speaker. You're not going to, you haven't got to worry about the balance or anything. You've just got those, got speakers in your ears. And it's all good. It was brilliant. Technically, it's because I'm one of the, I say I'm a normal person. I like to talk to engineers and technicians and have a look at what their equipment, what they're using. I'm a bit of a geek.
Yeah.
So I do like to have a look and see what they're using and how something makes something do whatever it's doing, So I had a good old look around all the technical stuff. It's absolutely amazing, the amount of equipment they use. And then obviously they've got the live musicians and the live singers as well. So that with everything, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Wow, times have changed. So it would be fair to say Kylie's right at the cutting edge of how to put on the best show in terms of the technology, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the part of the show that I saw, what I liked was that it reminded me a bit of Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, where she's got them all walking forward, and they're like in a bowling pin shape, like a V shape.
Yes.
But it makes it look like they're walking on the stage, but they're not on the stage.
Yeah.
It's just the way they've done the cinematography, and the combination, the way they use the screens at the side as well is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant show. It's a brilliant show. It's really, and I say the fans were just on it, man. They were. And
so you're in the audience after your part. Were people? What was it like being in the audience? Were people coming up and talking to you, recognizing you?
You think people got time to come and talk to me when they're trying to watch a Kylie show?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Yeah. Jazzy P, Kylie on stage. Jazzy P, Kylie on stage. What am I going to do?
You know what I mean? No, stick to looking. No, because the first time I sat with the visual technicians, so we were sort of in a little secluded part. But I had a little jiggle and a little dance on the way down with some of the fans and stuff.
Oh, good on you.
And then on the second night, I sat in the audience on the side and just took some pictures and stuff with people around there, and just hung out with them. And then when I was leaving, I had to get dragged away in the end because I was this guy, Mark Westwood. Hey, gotta say hello to him because he is the guy actually that sent me a copy of the Dublin show of Let's Get to It, because I never had a copy. Nobody gave me a copy.
Oh, okay.
And he sent me a copy over. So I've sort of been friends with him Facebook for a good old little while.
Well, Mark Westwood
And,
is well known in the Kylie fan community. Good on you, Mark, for being generous
so
like that.
I had to give him a shout out.
Yes, and you did do
And,
the shout out on stage. Absolutely.
Yeah. So and say hey Kylie crew. All the Kylie crews on Facebook, they're phenomenal.
And
they're absolutely brilliant.
when you watched that Let's Get To It performance back, you would know that it is absolutely in there in the Kylie Hall of Fame where you say, I'm going to get sexy, y'all, and you take off the jacket and you jiggle yourself provocatively as you walk down the side of the Let's Get To It stage. Now, I love the fact that you reference that in the your reunion performance. Can I just ask, was the original time you did that, was that spontaneous, or was that something that if I'd went night after night, I would have seen you say the same line?
No, it was spontaneous because it was, that's kind of what I'm like. I'm a bit on the spontaneous side. I get carried away. So no, it wasn't actually planned for me to do it.
What did you make of it when you realised that the fans absolutely go gaga over I'm going to get sexy, y'all?
I didn't even know till last year. I was absolutely flabbergasted because the thing is that the people I was involved with managing me and stuff, they never did any follow up. They made a lot of promises, but they never did any follow up with regards to what was happening after the track, what was going on. So it was just basically, right, that's all done. So I never got any copies of anything. And so it's been fans that have given me stuff. To do with, because the people that were representing me weren't representing me, they were representing themselves. So, I never got any traction from it at all.
Yeah, fair enough. I love the fact that we've confirmed that it was a spontaneous moment. The other question that comes up a lot since you reunited with Kylie is, has it done your career any favors? Does it mean that you're about to release a new single? Does it mean you could get back into music like you were a little bit more, or do the fans simply overestimate what that moment on stage means? Is it?
I've been asked.
You have, yeah. What have you been asked?
Yeah, I can't say.
Oh, intriguing. That's fantastic.
I have been asked. I'm mulling because it wasn't for the intention of going back into the music career. It was literally something I really, 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 really wanted to do.
Let's make that really clear. There was no way that this was part of a strategic career plan. I know that for the longest time you've said bucket list, this is something you'd love to do. It's a full circle moment. So we totally accept that. But it's fair to say that now the fans are sort of right. When you do something like this, it has a bit of a propeller moment for you.
You see, I like doing things. If people catch on to them, great. But I'm not a great one for like saying, yeah, I'm going to follow. I try and remember to tell people to follow me, but I forget. I'll be sitting there chatting to somebody for ages and ages and ages. Oh, by the way, you can follow me on Jazzi P MMS on Instagram. And I always forget to tell people. The thing I'm doing more than anything else right now is I'm presenting on radio, DJing, and I've got it.
So where can people find you, Jazzy P? Where can people listen to you?
As far as my radio shows are concerned, the main station on is Genesis Radio Birmingham, but I'm on the internet as well, on Jazzy P Radio UK. So whenever I'm live, it'll kick in to me being live. Otherwise, my station's like, it plays past shows that I've done.
Okay.
And individual tracks. So it's like a little standby station.
Awesome.
But you can always the easiest way to catch me is on Mixcloud, because you can either listen or watch. And sometimes I go on camera if I'm not.
And what's your Mixcloud title?
It's if I remember correctly. See, I'm terrible. Pauline Bennett.
Pauline Bennett.
4.
Okay, people can look you up. And Jazzy P Radio UK, you said too.
Yeah, the easiest way to find me is if you just type Jazzy P Radio into your browser. Then all my Instagram, my TikTok, everything comes up in one go.
Oh, there you go.
Choose what you like.
You're so similar to me. You just like to do the bit but the promotion part is, secondary for you, that's for sure. And it's the same for me as well.
We see how late I upload things. I take forever. Sometimes I try and do it when I'm in my horizontal office. That's what I call it.
We've all got one of those.
But, I just want to say that anybody that I haven't responded to, one, sorry, time factor, but also two, probably haven't found your message yet. So, because even when I left Big Brother, I didn't find messages until 2022.
Yeah.
And they'd been there from 2014.
Yeah, they go into funny little nets, which is really weird, isn't it? Who knows why? Unread, message request, all this sort of stuff. It's like, just give me the message, please.
Yeah, that would make life so much easier.
It's like looking in your post box and not realising there's a secret compartment in there.
Exactly that. So, apologies to anybody that I haven't responded to. It's not on purpose.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Jazzy P. Do you have a message for Kylie, by the way? I know that her camp listens every now and then to this show. So what would you love to say to Kylie now that it's been a week or maybe a little bit more since you were on the stage with her?
Well, once again, thank you so much, my love. I had an absolute blast. I had a whale of a time. It was one of my dreams come true, and it was the top of my bucket list. And to get the top one done first, I can only be grateful to you, my love. And Lauren, everybody on the sound team, you are all amazing. You've got an absolutely brilliant tour. And please, can you send me a ticket so I can watch from the front? Because I'd love to be able to see the show from the front. And me and Kylie did have a little conversation, and I'll be able to fill you in on that, on what that conversation was at a later date. By the way, just little one tidbit for you.
Hang on a second. Jazzy P, we're at the very last hurdle, and you say, Kylie and I had a conversation and I'll fill you in later? No. What about?
Yeah, we've got to speak again first. Oh, can't tell you that. It'll be a surprise.
Oh, my goodness. Hang on, folks. The listeners wouldn't forgive me, Jazzy P, if I didn't just... Hang on, let me mull this over now. Jazzy P and
you won't guess it.
Had a little chat, and you can't tell us till a later date. Well, listeners, at least write to me, what do you guess? We'll play a guessing game at this stage at timetotalkaustralia@outlook.com. What is Jazzy P mysteriously referring to? I don't know. Is there a Rhythm of Love anniversary edition coming up?
You'll never guess.
Never guess.
Guarantee you will never guess.
All right, well, that's a good clue. It's something we'd never guess. So it's pretty special. Is it something that may happen or is happening?
And there's silence.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so basically, Tim, just be satisfied with what you've said and nothing else. Is that what you're telling me?
There you go. But it's not gonna be imminent, though. It'll be in a couple of months' time.
Okay. But it's not you and Kylie entering the Big Brother house together as a duo.
I would never let her do that in a million years. I would go down there and drag her out myself.
So I promise I'm not going to push or pry anymore, but let me reflect back. So the fans should watch this space, and in maybe several months' time, we will be receiving a happy surprise.
And I'll let you know first.
That's amazing. I'm just so delighted about that. That's amazing because you guys have such a beautiful piece of Kylie history together. And it's not just Kylie history, it's Jazzy P history as well. You had your own wonderful career, some great songs back in the day that I loved. In fact, I just love the whole 90s vibe. I'm so glad that you and Kylie are going to do something else together, whatever it is that we can't guess, which I'm not going to pry anymore, even though I want to. Jazzy P, thank you. I know it's late there. I'll let you get back into your horizontal office.
You're more than welcome, sweetheart.
Kim, it is so nice to finally talk to you.
Well, you too.
You're still euphoric because of our Kylie. She came to Finland. What did you make of the show?
Yeah, I bought the ticket in November, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then there was these cancellations, and I was so nervous, or they postponed or canceled, I don't know. And I was so nervous all week. But there she were in front of me, so I was so happy.
Was it the first show since illness or the second?
The first one, yes.
Yeah, so you must have been hoping, fingers crossed, that she got well, because she took that time out, of course. I'm just so pleased that you got to see her. But Kim, I've got to ask you something before we get into the review of the Tension tour from your point of view.
Yep.
You've been messaging the show for the longest time, and I know it sounds strange because you and I have never spoken at all, but I've always got the sense that you are the most lovely person, and I really appreciate all the messages that you send through. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I am pretty lovely, actually. So I don't know why I'm single.
You really are. You just have this beautiful energy with all your voice memos. Listeners, if you will know Kim, if you've listened to the show, he sends in voice memos from time to time and gives his opinion on different things. Whether he's cranky or whether he's really happy, he does both, which is fantastic. So I've always got the nicest energy from you. So it really is lovely to connect.
Thank you.
Have I embarrassed you,
now.
Kim? I hope not. I don't mean to embarrass you. I don't. So tell me this, Kim. Had you seen Kylie live before this Tension tour?
Yes. Yeah, the first one was the Fever tour. It was in Stockholm when I used to live there. And then I saw the X tour, also in Stockholm. Then I came to Finland 10 years ago. And this was the first Kylie show in Finland.
And forgive my ignorance, and maybe you don't know either. Has she been to Finland before on a tour?
Yes, actually she asked the audience last night, do you know when I was in Finland last time? And then someone shouted 2011, and she said, yes, 2011. Not good. I should come here more often, or something like that.
Yeah. So what was that for the Aphrodite tour, was it?
Yes.
Right. Fantastic. Now, listen, I'm a bit blown off my seat by something you wrote to me in email. You said you've just come back from the Tension tour and without doubt the best show you've ever seen.
It was. Oh, sorry, my dog is making noises here.
He's so excited too. Is he okay?
Yeah, something in his throat. Okay. Yeah, but it was the best show. Not only the best Kylie show, but the best. Okay, sorry. But
are you sure your dog's okay, though? Is that just what he does?
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, now it's
as long as there's no chicken bone. Oh, okay.
No. It wasn't only the best show that I've ever been to. Let's start from the beginning. It wasn't only the best Kylie show that I've been to, but the best show, period, ever, because it was so simple. It was Kylie and no, what's it called in English? Props, something like that.
Yeah.
Because remember, English is only my third language. It was the screens, and it was Kylie. She's a star. And also, I was surprised at how much I loved Good as Gone, as did the crowd. Now it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, much better live, isn't it, actually?
Very much better live.
Now, where were you sitting, Kim? And did she walk past you as she was doing the locomotion?
No, she didn't. But it's another thing. This was quite a small arena. I read that 8,000 people is the maximum. And
wow, that is small.
But it was so nice because it was so intimate and intimate and live. So I reckon wherever you were in the arena, you could see everything. So I was quite in the back, but like straight in front of the stage. So it felt like first row, really.
Did she take requests from the audience?
She did. Someone shouted "Never too late." She did a couple of lines, and then it ended up to be wow.
Oh, okay. We've heard that at least once. Could have been the second time in Finland.
Oh, and a little bit of Turn It Into Love, yes.
Did she really?
Yeah, just a couple of lines.
I love that song, Kim. I
Me
love
too.
it. And yes, I think she did a little bit of that on the Golden Tour too. I think Turn It Into Love, and Showgirl Homecoming, if I'm right. Some people will write in and let me know if I'm right or wrong about that. What did you hope she'd do? Were you screaming out, Kim? Were you going, Kylie, sing "Glad to Be Alive"?
That would have been so fucking funny. or The Meaning of Love.
Yeah, yes. And what's the B side of Hand on Your Heart? Just Want to Love Me, Just Want to Love You. We should scream out the really obscure ones, right? So was there any particular song you wished that she'd sung while you were there?
I knew
Like,
you
what's
were
your
going to
favourite
ask me
Kylie
this
track?
question.
Of course I
And
was.
I know, and I was thinking about it. I think that a few songs from Tension 1, like Things We Do for Love.
So a few more tension tracks. You know what never gets mentioned, Kim? Nobody's ever come on this show when I've asked them that inevitable question. Cliched, you might say, since you saw it coming a mile off. Nobody's ever said, oh, I wish she sang Hands or Green Light. But I wish she would.
Hands would be fucking fabulous.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I was thinking about that yesterday, that before the show, that Hands didn't get the attention that it deserves.
Well, a lot of people say it's because she barely sung it even on the album itself, which I think she acknowledges. It's very layered with the original singer. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I'd love to hear how she'd do Hands live. But what about Green Light? That's a great track too. And it fits in with the disco era, in my opinion.
Yeah, Green Light is not my favorite.
Oh, no justice for Green Light. Kim says
but
no.
Dance for Darling.
Oh,
That's
yes.
a favorite.
And she loves that. Yeah. So many disco tracks, actually. But she gave disco a fair go on the Tension Tour, which is good.
She did.
Very good.
But I have to say that disco is not one of my favorite albums, but I really, really
Kim?
liked. Yes.
How do you say that? Were you
There
not
are
in
so many
lockdown
great
with the
tracks,
rest of the
but then
world?
there are some tracks that I really don't like. But last night, all these disco tracks, it was magical. So great.
Yeah, she picked all the right ones. Maybe Miss a Thing needed to be in there too. I think what does she do from disco again? Let's think about it. She goes, Say Something, obviously.
Supernova, Real Groove, and that was great. And Magic, and Where Does the DJ Go?
She doesn't do Where Does the DJ Go, does she?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, what do you think, folks? Is my memory going? Did she add it for your show, do you think, or is it just part of the standard set list?
No, I think I read on Wikipedia that it was.
Where does the DJ go? Do 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 do.
But Real Groove was so great with the hand claps, and everybody was clapping. Everybody should always add some hand claps to every song.
Every song needs a hand clap, if it's disco especially.
Yes.
This isn't Janet Jackson, and I love listening to Time to Talk.
It was meant to be a tour for the masses. And did the masses in your stadium, in your arena, I should say, did they enjoy the show? Were the audience loving it?
They were loving it.
Yeah.
I was nervous and thought that they were going to be shy and quiet, but no, they were as euphoric as I was.
Tell me a little bit about Finland and music. Like when you said you thought they might be shy and quiet, are people in Finland generally a little bit more reserved than the average fan?
A little bit more reserved, yes.
Did you try and start a locomotion of your own in your little area?
Well, I can tell you, behind me, I had a group of ladies around maybe 40, and they were having the best time of their lives. And next to me, I had an older couple, a man and woman, around 65 maybe. and they were sitting there clapping and enjoying. And next to me, I had a young man and a young woman, and we were dancing all the time. And he knew all the lyrics, as did I. And in front of us, we had like 3 rows of straight middle-aged couples, like, and they were there. They were like watching a theater show or something, but they knew some of the songs, and then they even started dancing a couple of times.
When they could put their little binoculars away, they got up and danced.
Yes, yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you, though, is like I'm hearing across the globe, her audience is so varied, right?
Very, very. And I love that about Kylie. And she's not swearing like Madonna. She's a classy, elegant woman, and I love that about her.
No, you can't imagine Kylie saying, I want to see this arena lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm. Like that time when Kylie was on stage with Madonna, and Madonna said something like, "Motherfucker." Kylie would never say something like that.
No, never. No Australian would, though. No Australian.
Oh, good.
We don't swear. Did you know that about us? Have you been to Australia?
I have never been to Australia.
No. Well, if you do, I think you'll quite like it because you never hear a cuss word. Never.
I'm blushing again.
Oh, don't blush. It's only Tim. It's only little old me. Kim, can I ask you what you like about the show? Because you've listened to it for a very long time, and I'm getting a lot of feedback at the moment that people are enjoying the Kylie shows, but they're sort of saying, can we get back to the way the show used to be with a bit more variety? Shout out to all of you writing to me and saying that. That's fair enough. Can I put it crudely too? I just told you Australians don't swear. But one of the emails that I recently got really stood out to me, Kim. It said, I'm looking forward to this tension show ending because your show will stop being a circle jerk to Kylie's tension tour. How rude is that?
That's very rude.
Yeah, he said he had to. He's taken a break from the show because of the circle jerk that is the time to talk tension to a show. Okay, point taken. I was not offended. It's reasonable. It certainly has been packed, hasn't it, wall to wall. But you've been listening for a long time, and I'm always curious to ask, what keeps you listening?
I found your show years ago, and it was because of Kylie.
Yeah,
I think I was looking for some old review of body language or something, and then I found your show. And then I started listening, and I've kept listening. I like it that, well, it's varied, in my opinion, and that people can talk to you from all over the world and send their voice messages. It's nice to hear other people's opinions.
Very good. How do you say I love Kylie Minogue in Finnish?
Minä rakastan Kylie Minoguea.
Oh, I love it. That's provocative.
Minä
Kim.
rakastan Kylieä.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. You're a funny man, Kim. You're very understated. What's your doggie's name?
Blake Carrington.
Oh, no. I think you've told me this before in an email. Blake Carrington. Isn't that a clue into what Kim likes, my friends?
Exactly.
Do you watch the old episodes of Dynasty on YouTube?
I do have the DVD box.
You do?
Of course.
Well, Kim, it's been lovely talking to you. I hope it's been all right for you from turning from a listener into a person who's in the fortress of pop culture. Has it been funny for you?
Oh, I have to tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
One song that I really didn't like before, well, I didn't hate it, but, that really stood out last night was Edge of Saturday Night. It was so fucking fabulous live.
Totally. But you didn't particularly like it before?
No. But now it felt like I was a 19-year-old at a rave or something.
I think that's
And also, I
fantastic.
was so happy that we didn't get to hear kids. I never want to hear kids again.
Shout out to all those people that write to me and go, it was the best tour ever because she didn't perform kids. I think she definitely heard us, Kim. She must have heard us. We've been saying it for about 10 years. No more kids.
Also, people didn't really get into Padam, and it was kind of boring live, in my opinion.
Is that right? I wouldn't say I was underwhelmed. That's not fair. But I just remember thinking, gee, that went off very sort of under the radar, maybe. Like it went very quickly into the next song. And yeah,
It
I
was
don't know.
very
It wasn't
bland.
as epic as I thought it might be.
Oh. But people really did get into Love at First Sight that you didn't want the show to end with, but it was a
Yes.
good ending.
Yeah, look, I will concede totally to Kylie and her team. I think they're 100% right to have put that at the end because the audiences universally love it.
And when I was going home on the metro, people were actually singing Love at First Sight.
Get out, really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
They were
Love
drinking
at First
whiskey
Sight.
and singing Love at First Sight.
Drinking whiskey and singing Love at First Sight on the metro.
Yes.
Oh, Kylie, that's got to be read out at your obituary.
I didn't get the dancers because
Yeah, a bit weird.
they were so weird. There were a few songs where they actually did something, like Supernova and Spinning Around, but they were just weird.
There were two moments at the Sydney show where I was like furrowed brow, completely confused. One was when, which I love now, the intro to Tension. I was like, what the devil is this? And I couldn't pick the song, which is not like me. Usually I can hear the song no matter how they intro it a mile off. I didn't pick that one. And when they came out like the Teletubbies, and I must admit, even before the show started, the two little sets of stairs, or three, they were baffling to me as well. So there were three moments, but I think it's meant to be a bit eccentric and a bit quirky, the show, I think.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I have to analyze that.
You have to analyze it. Yeah, fair enough. Now, you're not going to go and see it again?
I would if she would come back, but I'm not going to travel for it.
Kim, it was lovely to meet you. I hope you come back into the Fortress sometime.
I hope so too.
Good morning, Nicholas. How are you?
Hello. Good evening. It's 9:30 p.m. here.
Past your bedtime, Nicholas.
A bit interrupted by a conversation. How's is it morning where you're? I suppose it is, yeah.
Yeah. It's only 6:30 here. And Nicholas, I've got a confession to make.
Tell me.
I don't know why you're on the show.
You invited me.
Somebody told me, I haven't read them myself, but somebody said that you've been having a go at me online. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you tell me? Funny thing is, I haven't read, and I don't even really know what the flavour is. Oh, except for maybe something about my pronunciation of words.
Yes. I'm a bit perplexed because I'm ESL. Well, actually, more like EFL because English is a fourth language that I learned. But I spotted you pronouncing equal, and I've never heard this, and I had to double check a few times, and I can't see any accepted pronunciation of that word as you say it.
And that outraged you?
I mean, I'm just very perplexed, not enraged. I'm not gonna, lose sleep over that.
But what perplexes you about that? I mean, you've just told me that you teach ESL, so you language as a second language, essentially. I would have thought that you, above anyone else, would be extremely tolerant of mispronunciations.
Not from natives, no.
And what is a native?
someone whose first language is, in this case, English.
Okay, well, I'm a native in that case. All right. Well, so tell me how to pronounce it. Let me get it right. I've been going. I'll put it in a sentence. Kylie is equally matched to Madonna. What about that? Was that wrong or right? You tell me. You're the teacher.
The pronunciation or the statement?
The pronunciation.
Equally, yeah, that's a correct one.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, how was I saying it before?
Equally.
Equally. Was that how I was saying it?
Or equal. It was something to that effect. I mean,
was it?
was
did you
a
hear?
few months ago. So.
Did you hear me say it once, or have you heard me say it repeatedly?
A couple of times,
Really?
to the point where I thought it could not just be a coincidence.
Okay. All right. So, folks, I'm taking something from this. Equally. You're right. It does come out of my mouth like that, but it should be equally.
Yes.
You want to hear the qua.
Yes.
Does it do things to you when I do this, Nicholas? Qua.
Things just to me. I mean,
qua. Okay. All right. And what else enrages you? I've heard that there's a range. There's basically a shopping list. Keep going. I've corrected that for you. Easy.
Okay, a shopping list. I mean, I think it ranges from a lot of things. I love that this is the first subject that you want to tackle.
Oh well, mate. No, you take me where you want to go. It's your podcast. I just genuinely, as I got into the studio, thought I scrolled back because I must admit, I talked to a lot of people, so I need to refresh quickly what people were going to come on the show about. And when I scrolled back in your chat, I fully put my hand up if I invited you on or someone invited you on. That's fine, but I couldn't see. There was nothing about Kylie. There was nothing about Madonna. I just saw a comment about that you have a range of interests. So I'm sitting in here open-minded. So you take this where you want to go.
Okay, because
but don't avoid the things that enrage you, because I want to try and modify my behavior so that a listener like you can enjoy the show even better than you already enjoy it.
The thing is, the word enrage is very strong. I mean, enrage means that I'm literally I want to throw my phone to the ground when I'm listening, which is not the case.
But you're a teacher, right? So you'd probably understand that there's inference and implication, right? So the producer who read your comments has told me that they believe you to be enraged. So you must accept that, Nicholas. You have to stand by the fact that you've made comments that have been perceived by someone as you being enraged, even if you weren't.
It all stemmed from, because I don't know who got in touch with me first, but it all stemmed from a post that someone put on the message board, for the Facebook page of Say Hey on Facebook.
Oh God. Sorry, Nicholas. So much of this is making sense to me now. Just for the record, I haven't been on Say Hey in more than probably 15 years, yet I hear that there is a crusade against this show. I've been reliably informed. I've been reliably informed by somebody in the past 4 weeks that they were kicked out of Say Hey because they posted one of the shows, which I did not ask them to, of course, because Say Hey, honestly, I wouldn't even know where to find it anymore. So anyway, this is all making sense now. So Nicholas, you saw something on Say Hey, and this has led to you making statements. Keep going.
So someone posted that was on Facebook, not on the message board. And someone posted, maybe it was a link to your show or something about the show.
Okay.
And I did provide the context that I would take what you say with a pinch of salt, because in the past you've made quite strong claims or supported some very strong theories that I know were not grounded in facts, and also I'm just surprised you haven't got sued over some stuff that you've said. And one of the things I mentioned was, I remember it was 2 years ago when Madonna had a bacterial infection, and I remember you posted an entire episode where you basically said that Madonna was committing insurance fraud by not being pretending to be ill in order to boost her ticket sales for her concert, and I thought that was so egregious and just and you sort of backpedal. Well, you didn't backpedal because you sort of left it behind, didn't acknowledge it, and then you had a full coverage of the celebration tour and never made any statement clearing what you had said or trying to go back on that. And I thought it was quite shitty, to be honest.
The episode about Madonna being ill, this is before the celebration tour started. Obviously, she had to delay the start of it. And we did have an episode where it was claimed that this could be a conspiracy, that she was worried about ticket sales, that she wanted to close off some of the shows that weren't selling well, and this was a good way of doing it, right? That was essentially the crux of the episode. Yeah. You found it egregious.
Yeah, it's quite a strong claim to make, especially, I mean,
did you listen to the episode, Nicholas? Or did you just see the thumbnail?
No, I did listen to the entire episode.
Well, I'm just curious, if you listened to the entire episode, and I know it was a long time ago now, but you'd be aware that I didn't make that statement.
See, but this is going to lead me to my overall point. That's not just about particular.
Well, no. But let's make sure that we clear this up. If you listen to the entire episode,
I mean, it's 2 years ago. Like,
yeah,
how am I going to remember down to granular level everything you said?
Not asking for the granular. I can't remember the granular either. But you'd be aware that I didn't make that comment.
The difference is that you did not put any caveat, and when it was clear that that comment was just a stupid conspiracy theory and quite an insulting one, to be honest, because if you put yourself in Madonna's shoes for 2 seconds and you have people claiming that she pretended to have a serious bacterial infection to bump up the sales of her tickets, you never came back and made a statement about what was said, nor invited the person back. And this goes to the main overarching
hold
point.
on. You're saying a lot of things.
No. You hold on.
No.
The thing,
I'm going to. You've made statements that are incorrect. Let me just clarify two things, and I
Really?
promise
Have I not?
Yes.
Did you go back and say that Madonna was actually ill, and that what was in that podcast
Nicholas,
was something that you completely detached yourself from?
Nicholas, you're going to get a fair go. You're going to get a fair go, I promise. But it's got to be a conversation, all right? People listening will hopefully be hearing that you've had a fair run, but I'm not going to let you just fruit and run. Okay, there's two things you said there. First of all,
I can't finish points. You're the one interrupting me. Okay.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you when you say wrong things. I did invite the guest back, and 2 times now you still haven't acknowledged I did not make that claim. Would you at least acknowledge that?
I would have to go back and listen to the episode.
Well, it's a shame, mate. If you're listening to the show, there was a person who came on and he made that claim. Yeah, it was a wild conspiracy theory. I'd agree with you. But I didn't make that claim. This show is basically an open forum. And like you're here. And
that leads me to the point that I'm trying to make, which you're not allowing me to make.
Go ahead.
Which is, okay, the real main issue I have with you and your show is that you invite people on it. You let them speak, which is absolutely lovely. So you provide a platform for a lot of discourse without really fact checking anything. And in that sense, as a host of a show that is trying to open conversations, I do believe ethically it is your job to always counteract certain claims that are made. That's basically a sort of journalistic integrity. You can't just put people on the platform and say, well, I didn't say that. No, but you give them a platform. It is your responsibility to make sure that if incorrect claims, which also, by the way, I think in that case and many other cases, could be ground for, suing people because that's defamatory. It is your responsibility, in my opinion, to come back with a statement. And this is basically what happens on absolutely every show that you might watch. If someone comes and has an entire hour to themselves where they can say Madonna is faking her illness to bump up her sales, or something like not so recently, but like, oh, US immigrants who come to the US smuggle drugs in the territory, when you were invited a Trump supporter and voter. In my opinion, it is your responsibility as a host to check those claims, make sure that you deliver factual information. The entire idea that you let people speak and then you just say, well, I didn't say those things, you still hold a certain responsibility towards your audience
Okay,
to
Nicholas,
check those
I hope you
claims
feel like you've
and
got a fair go. Am
then
I allowed
correct
to
them.
talk yet? Or, I'm a bit paranoid now because you've got very strict and harsh, frankly, criteria about how a conversation can go. I'm suspecting that you are absolutely part of the cancel culture movement. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
So, am I going to get a chance to speak? Am I allowed under your criteria to talk now? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure? Have you got your egg timer ready to go? No response, Nicholas, at all. No response. Sounds about right. Okay, so I think you make a valid point. It's when somebody comes on the show and makes outrageous claims, well, the mechanism on this particular show to remedy those is other people are allowed to come on, like yourself, Nicholas, to put the counter argument forward. That is absolutely not my job because I believe very much in freedom of speech. And agreed, there is a limit to freedom of speech. If it crosses a line into the world of criminal or defamatory, no good. Totally agree with you on that. Okay. But when that guy came on and he wanted to express his disappointment, it was a general conversation about his disappointment in Madonna at that point in time. He was invited back on the show, despite your, by the way, not fact-checked claim that I didn't invite him back on the show. And yeah, you did say that, Nicholas, so don't deny it.
Mm-hmm.
I did invite him back on the show. He declined to come back on the show. He
Okay.
told me, by the way, in text that he was enjoying the celebration tour, despite his earlier concerns. So that's the mechanism that people can come on and present the counter argument. Nicholas, just to make it abundantly clear, are you telling me that there are some guests who I shouldn't allow on the show?
No, I'm not saying that. I do believe also in freedom of expression, but also at some point, some things that I said, which are factually incorrect, should be fact checked by you if the person does not wish to come back on the show. For me, it's an ethical responsibility that you have.
But how the devil, be real with me, Nicholas, because it's easy for you to throw the big bomb over to me and say, you should have fact checked. How would one fact check what was going on in the mechanics of Madonna's mind when she was delaying the start of her tour? How the devil would you expect me to do it? Tell me.
Well, after the fact, after it was confirmed that, she
It was never
had been
confirmed.
ill.
It was never confirmed that she delayed the start of a tour, not to claim insurance. And maybe she did claim insurance. How do you know she didn't? I'm sure she did, in fact.
Okay, so do you have evidence for that?
Do you have evidence that she didn't? That's my point. Like,
well,
if
I am not that invested in that tour that I would check that information or have it at the tip of my fingers.
But the irony here, Nicholas, is that you've come on and said, "Oh my God, someone said something totally incorrect on your show about Madonna claiming insurance for cancelled shows." You don't know if she didn't. The likelihood is she did. So he probably came on the show and made a factually correct remark that has enraged you, by the way. You might not feel enraged, but you're sounding very enraged.
How do you know I'm enraged?
There's a bit of a veneer of laughter there, but you're sounding rather enraged. Okay, but look, I take your point.
So we going on a process of intention, and basically, like, the way you feel about me is what I am. Okay, cool.
Well, that's the way I'm perceiving it. Yeah. So look, I've got equal. There's one for you, and there's nothing we disagree on, really. If somebody comes on and makes a claim that veers into the criminal or the libel, I agree that should be either corrected or actually just cancelled out. Agreed.
So for instance, when you had the Trump supporter,
A Trump voter, okay, yeah.
And that person, I remember listening to that episode a couple of months ago. And that person, I think it was kind of like an exchange between him and someone who was against Trump.
Yeah, I think you're
And
talking about Madam Roastbeef and Sean, potentially, maybe.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So what the Trump supporter claimed, and what backed up his vote, was that so he made the claim that migrants from South America were responsible for smuggling drugs in the US, and that's why he voted for Trump, because the whole campaign that he led was based on cracking down on immigration, which we are seeing unfolding now. Again, when you talk about Madonna and canceling tours, like, it's fine. Like, it's not, in the
Well, it's
grand
not
scheme of
fun.
things, it's
You
not
just
really that
You've
important.
just spent 10 minutes telling me why it's not fine. So don't start.
I said
turning
it was
things around.
insulting to make that claim about, and that was just an example of the general point that I'm really trying to make a point.
Well, God, I hope you get there, Nicholas, because you're taking the long
Yeah, I'm
route.
trying to get there, but if you keep talking, it's not going to happen.
Well, mate, you're on a podcast and you're with a host, and it's a conversation. And if somebody is taking the long route, it is my job to get them back on track. So get back on track. You're upset about.
I'm trying to get on track, but you keep interrupting, so that's why it's impossible.
Well,
So
please get back on track. I'm trying to follow.
Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, when you talk about trivial pop things like tours and music or whatever, it's not, it doesn't have extreme ramifications on people's lives. I think the problem is you seem to be very quickly out of your depth on a lot of subjects, or if you aren't, then you consciously make the decision to not correct certain things that I think are ethically and morally important for me to correct. So when that claim was made, it has been supported many times by police figures. And the American police are not the wokest, progressive, social justice warriors that you can come across. It has been proven many times that the ones who are bringing drugs in the US are not immigrants who are, for most cases, fleeing very unstable political situations or
Come on,
just
mate.
extreme
Let's get
poverty.
to the point here, because
So
it's not.
the
I
thing
don't want to
is,
talk about Trump.
when that claim is made, there are implications which, for instance, that person voted for Trump. That was a reason why many people voted for him, based on anti-immigration laws. And now we're seeing the effects on a lot of people's lives. What's happening in America right now? There are riots
Nicholas,
against ICE members or ICE agents. So
Nicholas,
when you have
Nicholas,
people who come on the show and you don't
are you going
question
to let me
those
talk now?
things, no, I'm good. Are you going to let me finish? When you have those people on the show and you invite them, provide them a platform, and then you don't ask them, okay, where do you have those figures? Where did you have that information? Is that really something that you based your vote on? I think as a host, that's your moral duty, in my opinion.
Interestingly, that was a debate between two people. So
Hmm.
your claim that I have a role to play there in fact checking along the way, that's a bit dubious, because there's two people
No,
having a
in
conversation.
my opinion, that's very
I
important.
would like to offer you the opportunity to talk to that guy, who I believe to be Sean. Would you like to talk to Sean directly on this show about his
I,
claims of Trump?
how we're going to organize that anyway? Like, one person in the US, one person in London, and one person in Australia.
I'm a very clever man. I can make it happen. Are you up for it, Nicholas? Would you talk to him directly if you're so enraged by his claims that I didn't correct?
Why do you keep using the word enraged? I don't
Nicholas, I
understand.
don't think you understand how you're perceived by people. You're sounding extremely enraged. You won't
By
let me
people,
talk.
by you.
Oh, so you are enraged. So I was correct. Where's my role in it? You said I'm increasingly out of depth with topics.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, when you're part of the people who use the word woke, and I don't think you really understand the meaning of that word, or
How would you define
you,
it?
so technically woke means someone who is aware of systemic issues related to discrimination about race or gender or sexual orientation, gender identity,
Someone who's enlightened, right?
and acknowledges those factor in society and tries to improve and make society more equal for everyone.
So, Nicholas, that's fine if your interpretation of the word woke is that. But like many words in the English language, the definition of woke has evolved for many of us into something
To
that
what?
is symbolic of people who have simplistic ideas of the wonderful world that we should live in at the expense of others. So people who want to cancel people's voices, for example, they would be woke. So, can I give you a preliminary verdict, Nicholas?
Mm,
It sounds to me like you enjoy the conversations on the show where you agree, but conversations where you don't agree bother you, and that's really
no,
interesting to me because do you not have a curious enough mind to hear different perspectives? Do you not have a curious enough mind to at least hear the views of people that don't necessarily hold your worldview? Because so far you're coming across as somebody who just thinks every guest I've ever had that has a statement or a position that differs from yours, you think that I should have intervened and slapped them down like a bitch.
slap them down like a bitch. You use such strong language for everything. Enraged, slap them down like a bitch. That's I
Again,
think that's
Nicholas,
the that's
your lack of personal insight is astounding because the listeners can make up their own mind. You come
okay.
across as extremely enraged. But
I come
let's go
across
back.
as extremely
Don't avoid the
enraged.
question, though. The question was, do you
Mm-hmm.
have a curious enough mind to sit and listen to the views of those that differ from yours?
100%. The problem is if the views, quote unquote views that are presented are not grounded in any reality, then we can't really have a conversation.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and a lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
Why do you listen to the show?
Well, I haven't listened to. I've gone through phases.
Okay.
So if you want to have my listening pattern, I think everything that's like pop related, fine, I can listen to it. I haven't listened to the show in a long time because I was on a media blackout regarding Kylie's Tension tour. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to, because I went this week and I didn't want to have any influence whatsoever. And a lot of the episodes that were there, which by the way, this is how, like, what I was supposed to talk about today, but okay, fine. Um, so I didn't want to have any influence before going to the performance in London on Monday.
I'm just
So I haven't
curious though.
listened to it.
You come across the show, and clearly you've been enraged a number of times listening to it.
Enraged.
And would you say,
Enraged.
are you generally always when you listen to it? Is there anything good about the show?
I think when you talk about like light-hearted pop culture, I'm completely fine with it.
Right. So when you agree with it.
No, sometimes I don't agree with it. I don't agree with your takes on a lot of music that you listen to, but I still
Uh-huh.
enjoy listening to it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you listened, Nicholas. I mean, I love having people on, and I'm taking things from this. You might think I haven't taken anything on board. I have. fair enough. There's somebody out there listening to the show who thinks that when a guest comes on and makes statements that they believe to be defamatory, by the way, I would always do that. But in the case that you're referencing, which is the Madonna cancellation of the tour, or the delay to the start of Celebration, I don't think he strayed into defamatory or libelous territory at all, which is why
Again, I would have to listen to the episode back because it was published 2 years ago, and we can go into the details again.
Isn't it a fantastic thing that Nicholas can be sitting there enraged, listening to it for however many episodes, and then be able to come on the show and tell me about it? Isn't that a good thing? That you've had your opportunity to have your say? I think that's great.
I'm not enraged, though. I don't know where you get that info from.
All right. Take out the word enraged. Is it a great thing that you've been able to come on and get this off your chest?
Sort of, yeah, because, I think you are not addressing my main point. You're trying to sort of deflect a little bit. But that's fine.
Maybe I just need some time to absorb it, Maybe I've been hit over the back of the head with a frying pan, Nicholas, and I need some time to digest what you've said.
You have such a violent vision of me. It's incredible.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to meet you in a dark back alley.
Okay.
Because I think you're the type who'd be smiling, but that'd be part of the trap.
That, again, it's...
What are you doing, like?
Where do you get that from? Like, is that how you, interact with people? You, have a preconceived notion of them, and then you go, on wild claims about them. That's just wild.
Again, Nicholas, not preconceived. I've had a conversation with you, so that's a very woke thing for you to say.
How long have we talked?
You don't think so? Again, this is very symptomatic of what I think you are, actually, Nicholas. You think that because we've only spoken for 30 minutes at this stage,
what do you think I am?
I have no right to have formed any opinion about you, which, by the way, is part of the human species. It's how we survive. We all make judgments. Judgment is not a bad thing. You have opinions about me, Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
That's your right to have them. I haven't said you shouldn't have an opinion about me. You've only spoken to me directly for 30 minutes yourself. You've got very strong opinions about me.
No, let me... I wouldn't... First of all, I listen to a lot of you because, there's hours and hours and hours of you talking.
Nicholas, there's a comment that I'm just looking at here. You've described me as emotionally immature.
How long ago was that?
I have no idea, mate. Am I emotionally
immature?
You
know what that is? I am, again, another thing that I'm not enraged by, but very perplexed, is your absolute hatred for Meghan Markle's.
I don't hate Meghan Markle.
You don't? You talk about her all the time.
Yeah, we talk about her a lot, but hate's a strong word. Absolutely not.
So what do you feel toward Meghan Markle?
I think Meghan Markle is somebody who's more obsessed about how she's perceived than actually just being the person that she truly is. I think that I would quite like her because she's a very harsh lady. I think she's a very judgmental lady. And if she could just be herself, I'd like her all the better. But the fact that she tries to wrap it with a veneer of, I'm very sweet, I'm very kooky, I'm very funny, I'm very helpful, I have a lot of friends, but I don't really care about power or fame or celebrity. That's how I feel about Meghan. But hatred, no. Let's go back to this emotionally immature question, or statement that you've made. Tell me about that.
Again, when was that statement and what was it about?
Okay. Well, I can't give you the context, Nicholas. You've made the statement. You can't stand by it. What do you do in life, Nicholas?
I'm a fitness instructor and content creator.
A content creator? Really? What do you make content about?
I'm an adult content creator.
Really? Are you on OnlyFans?
Yes, among other platforms.
Okay. Do you make a good living out of that?
It's a nice extra.
Okay, so it's not enough to live on. I've always wanted to ask that. Some OnlyFans that get in the news, they go, I'm making $100,000 a month and all that sort of stuff. That's not your experience?
That's a very small minority of content creators. It's just like regular content. You have people who make millions and others who, just get a little extra money from it.
So how often do you post to those platforms?
Once a week on
Okay.
OnlyFans, and I'm on Just for Fans, which is another one, which allows more kinky content.
Right.
And that one I post twice a week.
And how full on is your content?
Um, Depends on what you think is full on. I would say for most people, it is quite full on.
Okay. Well, tell us. This is uncensored show. What do you do on your platforms? People might want to come and watch you, Nicholas.
Okay. Well, OnlyFans is sorry. It's been a long day, so my voice is a bit not there. On OnlyFans, I do explicit content, a bit of solo, but that's not really. I feel a bit awkward by myself in front of the camera, so I invite other gentlemen to partake in activities with me.
Oh, come on. Don't be coy. You're on OnlyFans. What do you do with other gentlemen? Full on sex?
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay. And uncensored, unfiltered, which I'm imagining. I actually haven't been on OnlyFans before.
I mean, it's behind a paywall, so you have to prove that you're 18 to watch the content.
Okay. Okay. And I'm curious, like when you say it's basically pocket money is sort of what you're describing it. I mean, how much would you make in a month from OnlyFans or from all the platforms combined?
Do you work for HMRC?
Ah, well, so that's your equivalent of a tax office, I'm assuming. But surely you can't avoid tax because that's all like
Yeah.
there's a paper
No,
trail.
you have to declare it.
Yeah. So how much in a typical month?
It can vary. I don't like discussing money issues really.
Okay, but it's not enough for you not to work
I
as well.
could live off of it, but when you live in London, you need to get all the money you can because everything is expensive. So I would have to be very careful with my spending. I could live off of my content.
So you said you're a fitness trainer and you
hmm
make adult content,
hmm
but you also said you're an ESL teacher. Is that still happening or is that in the past?
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say you're an ESL teacher?
I am ESL, so
Oh,
English as
yourself.
second language. Yeah,
Right. Okay. And you know multiple languages.
correct.
Well, it sounds like you're living your best life.
A busy life for sure.
How long have you been doing the adult stuff for?
Going on 2.5 years.
Okay. And is it one of those things that you sometimes think to yourself, if I could dedicate more time to this, it would be more successful? Or is it about as successful as it's going to get for you?
I think it could go bigger. Um, the whole thing is I don't want to make that my only form of income anyway, or I don't want that to be my life. Because that's something that you sort of age out of at some point. And also it's quite a lonely life, when you meet a lot of people that you shoot with, but it's still, a lot of time spent in front of a computer editing. For me, it's too lonely. I like my fitness thing because it allows me to meet all sorts of people from all walks of lives, and yeah, just like
So you're,
the variety of people that meet throughout the day is just it's quite astounding.
you're
I
not in
like
a
that.
relationship then at the moment?
No.
If you were in a relationship, is this something you could do you think?
Yes, because I would like to be with someone who would accept that. I wouldn't ask anyone else to change a job or to move to a different place just for me. That's something that is rewarding emotionally and financially for me. So that's not something I want to uh, give up on for someone else.
Is it an odd experience to have yourself in pornographic situations on a computer screen and you're editing? Like, how do you make those choices about where to edit, where to slice, where to zoom, where to delete?
Everyone's got a different relationship with it. Since I come from the fitness industry, I kind of have to embrace the fact that I'm not going to be happy with the way I look like 360, because that's when you see all angles of you. But everyone's got their own style of editing, everyone's got their own style of filming. So I kind of have my formula that works for me.
It'd be easy to assume that you aren't a self-conscious person, but most people do have something they're self-conscious about. Is there anything about yourself that you are self-conscious about?
Of so many, but it's again, my work on myself is to push that aside and again think, I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I do, that my body works.
What are you self-conscious about, though?
What do you want to know? Are you my psychiatrist now?
You don't want to share that? All right. Well, let's flip it around. What's the part of your body that you are most proud of, or what part of your performance in these videos are you most proud of?
Part of perform. I'm very pleased with my understanding of angles and light. My editing skills, I think, are great. I sort of, because most of us, we don't have the leverage to have a camera operator and a lights department. It's everything is homemade. So there are some videos that I managed to shoot in 45 minutes, edited down to 25, and I think this angle, this light makes everyone look great. You see what you need to see. The editing is very on point. Everything is snappy. It's not boring. It's dynamic. That's what I like about my
Okay.
videos.
So a lot of thoughtfulness. And how many followers do you have collectively?
On my content platforms or on my Twitter?
Collectively.
About 100,000.
Wow. You're doing a good job there. Doing a good job. That's big for 2.5 years only. It's sort of early days.
And we try.
Amazing, Nicholas. Well, look, thank you for letting me get to know you a little bit. It's always good to know the background and the context of somebody who's so enraged by the content that you produce. It's a wonderful thing. And funnily enough, Nicholas, I think I'm starting to enjoy you a little bit more now.
Oh.
Yeah.
When I'm not enraged.
No, I find that there was a generosity of spirit with you sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do. I think that was very generous of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, one of the reasons why I came today was to talk about the Tension Tour, but we didn't mention that at all.
What did you think of the Tension Tour?
I think it was brilliant. I think it was the best.
Well, that's a good summary. Nicholas, I've enjoyed talking to you. Do you feel like you got a fair shot?
Not really, but I think I think I got the best shot that I could get with you.
Yeah. Well, I definitely tried my best. Are you going to keep listening, or is that it now? Unsubscribing?
I might listen back because again, I was on a media blackout to not have anything Kylie sort of cloud my personal opinion of the tour. I would say depends on the episodes. I know that all the political stuff I'm probably gonna steer clear from because it's probably going to be amateur hour, which you sort of I know that's your brand. I think politics should not be amateur hour. I think it should be backed up with more rigorous attitudes and claims. But I guess that's just me. Anything
Bit
pop
elitist,
culture,
Nicholas.
like I don't mind.
I said it's a bit elitist of you, really, because nearly everyone who votes doesn't have a deep understanding of politics, yet they're the most important person in an election or in democracy, the voter. So the fact that you're suggesting that people shouldn't come on unless they're informed, well, you're really missing the pulse of a community that way, aren't you?
And I think when you're platforming people, you have to make sure that you get people who come from a place of really understanding what they're talking about.
how can people find you if they want to look you up? Because there's probably plenty of people who listen and are curious now.
So my stage name, if that's what you're referring to,
Sure.
is Angel, like an angel, and Diaz, like Cameron Diaz.
Angel Diaz.
Yes, so I'm at Angel Diaz XXL. I'll let you imagine what it's about. On Twitter, just for fans, OnlyFans. And I have my personal Instagram. I don't really want people to find me there.
That's all right.
So yeah.
No, if people want to look you up, they can, and I'm sure many, many people will, because many people, as I say in one of the promos for this show, a lot of people listen to this show simply to be enraged. So there's lots of people in the Nicholas camp I know are listening and going, good, give it to him, Nicholas, give it to him hard.
Enraged. And you have such an interesting relationship with that word.
Well, listen back. I'm curious for you to listen back and you can decide how you come across, because you come across as quite rabid about a number of issues.
Rabid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rabid,
The
enraged.
semantic field. Yeah, I would probably use the word passionate or strongly convinced about the point that I make. But enraged, I'm gonna go to sleep in 30 minutes, and I'm sure that's not gonna be a problem.
Well, even angry people sleep, Nicholas.
But do enraged people sleep? That's the question.
Nicholas, you've had your say and you've said it well, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.